Yeah.
Big up, people, all those in YouTube land. Enzo and Fernandez and Kylian and Mbappe. It's rambled on all week. It's time the truth is told. All aspects are found out. Every side's told because the understanding of the truth is your side, their side, and then what you make in the middle. So I have Bargav with me. I have JPT and with me. Let's get into this. Big up, everyone. Hope everyone is well and enjoying their Saturday afternoons. JPT, brother, you still look hungover. You all right? Yeah. You
All
want a
right.
you want a coffee, bro? You want some
Okay,
coffee?
got my water. I'm all good to go. How's everyone doing?
Yeah.
I just realized how wounded JPT actually looks. Big up,
Just
Bargav as well. How are you doing, bro? You good?
good hot day, just a regular summer day, honestly. But just
It
trying to get
is.
stuff done. Yeah.
It is a
Big
hot
up.
day. Because of the reaction that me and JPT had on our show the other day, we had to do this because it became quite a big thing the other day,
Yeah.
and I got left a lovely message on my channel by a certain someone, which I will read out near the end of this stream. And it's been like, oh, look who hasn't been here for a minute. Big up Tony Claude
Big up,
TV in
Tony.
the building. Tony, if you'd like to join us, do let me know, please, in the chat. And you're more than welcome because you're a solid, down to earth guy, man. I would appreciate because obviously he would have a very different viewpoint on that. Big up, bro. Hope you're doing extremely well. Look forward to seeing you again, my brother. If you want to join, let me know, brother. The link is there in the description, in the chat. Please, 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 please. Your opinion is always valued. Jump in if you feel like it. But right, the Kylian Mbappe Enzo story. Now, the reason why I'm doing this particular stream, and I'll ask JP about his particular feelings as a South American, is because a whole massive thing has been made about this over the last week, and rightly so. But the thing is, not many people actually have a full understanding of what's taken place. So, right, in this particular stream, we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about who said what and why they said it. So, JPT, like, have you got anything you'd like to add before we start?
Opposed to what we already discussed from last time, it's just as you mentioned, like I have to get my point of view on this as being like a Latino. It was expected. I didn't think they would actually bring it up and also let alone record it. It's this hearing the song for the first time during the World Cup. I was surprised it didn't get as much criticism or notice until a ball player is gonna have to idiotically, of course, record himself and everyone doing it. Why not just live stream? You guys break it into a bank. Why not? Just they're their own biggest snitches. Either way, you can
Well, I'm
put it
glad
in a
they've
way.
done it because if they
Yeah,
were singing that song and acting that way, then they deserve to be shamed. So all I'll simply
it's
say to them is
exposed.
thank you. Yeah, exposed. Thank you
Exposed.
very much. That's
Truth got
exposed.
let out.
You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
that song, because even though it does have homophobic, racist tones in it, that song specifically was directed at one person, and they mentioned that person by name, a certain Kylian Mbappe. Now, to understand why they're singing this song about Kylian Mbappe, you have to turn your mind back a couple of years. You have to go back to the World Cup final in Qatar when it was announced that France and Argentina would be playing each other in the World Cup final. Mbappe said his bit on what he thought of the Argentina national team. Now, Bargav, would you like to read out the quote, or shall I?
Yeah, I mean, what I was gonna say is, first of all, this is a big issue. So, props to you guys on talking about it. You guys have courage. I mean, there's a lot of people that I know they would shy away from a stream like this. So, you guys deserve a massive respect for that. Second thing is, yeah, like I don't know, you're saying like the World Cup at was it 2024?
Yeah,
That
2 years
was
ago.
yeah, 2 years ago. But no, it goes way further than that, man. Like, so France and Argentina have had a rivalry for years, and it's also been you can sort of extend that like out to the 2018 World Cup when they eliminated Argentina I'm trying to remember. It was a quarter. It was a quarterfinals, right? Like that they eliminated them. It was
It's either quarters or semis.
Yeah, it was either quarters or semis. So I mean, Paul Pogba. I mean, there's always been that way because French players are like, they're really proud. Like, I mean, they're really proud. They're really good players. Like, French has a really good like history of like footballers. So does South America. Like with Argentines, when they met in the World Cup, it was massive. Like, that with world football, like they're at a different level with all the stars and stuff. So everyone's competing for like fame and stuff like that, like skill levels. I mean, everybody wants to be the best, but sometimes it spills over in other dimensions. Paul Pogba at the end of that World Cup, I think he said what he said during like the finals was, hold on, let me pull up the quotes real quick. It was I don't want to go home tonight. Go home tonight. We don't go home all together. Warriors, we're going to kill those Argentines. Messi or not, we don't give a fuck. We will win this effing World Cup. Sorry about cursing.
No. It's a quote, so it's what he said. Quote, so there you go. There's shot fired number one.
So there was a big people took offense to that, and that might have been the catalyst for Argentina's run also. So I mean, it's sporting. If anybody who's done competitive sport, things get heated, right? Like, I mean, you're gonna use every single emotion, every single skill set to your advantage and whatnot. So,
and of course, it's football, and footballers have big mouths because they get overpaid, so they're gonna run their mouths whenever they get a chance. That's the other thing, the reason why he said it, by the way, because it's just.
I mean, egos, exactly, egos. So I mean, some people rub it off and be like, that's the reason they are who they are, and some people will be like, we don't tolerate that shit.
Exactly. Well, considering like when it comes to what you said then about we're gonna effing kill them and all that, right? If I was an Argentinian and I'd heard that, I'd be looking at this guy like, really? Okay. Yeah. But fast forward. So this arguably started at the World Cup last.
Yeah, that's a song.
In terms of the simmering of the pot, so to speak. But then we fast forward to the Qatar.
Hold on. So here's the thing. Somebody told me that this song actually, like the root came from here, actually, like at that time too, because it was supposed to be at some other thing, but it got to it ended up being for the French. But I don't know. That's unconfirmed. That's what I heard from like with regard to the origin of the song. So I'm just gonna put that out there.
All right. Then, well, unless anyone else can bring any more concrete info to the table.
Yeah.
In terms of, we might as well just move on to that World Cup anyway, because it's the one thing that everyone's aware of. So, all right. Well, in the World Cup build-up final to the build-up in Qatar, Kylian Mbappe was stated, and I quote to say, "The advantage we European have as favourites is that we always play each other. We have high-level matches. Argentina and Brazil don't have the high level of competition in South America. Their football is not as developed as in Europe. That's why in most recent World Cup winners have been European. Mbappe on his favourites to win the World Cup via TNT Sport." Your reaction?
All right, so let me ask you this: like,
all right.
You know the word? You know the word people use lately? It's like undertones. You could probably sit there and say there's undertones in that, right?
Well, I mean, underdeveloped. Just say what you're saying. Just say call us third world country. Just
like,
well, again, I'm not getting politically involved in this. All I'll simply say to that comment is, my first point is, it's education. That's the first thing. I'm telling you, regardless of your pride as a Frenchman or whatever else, it's got to be education straight away. And it's one thing about this is, Bargav, who would you say was the greatest player ever? Is that a Pele or Maradona or Messi or Ronaldo, isn't it?
Yeah, those four would be up there. Yeah,
right, that's four. Out of those four, how many of them are South American?
Pele, Maradona, Messi, and then who's the fourth one? Well, three of them.
Yeah,
one's European.
So one's European. And anyone in the chat watching this, please feel free, because this is a discussion as well. Put in the chat who you think is the greatest player of all time. Because I'm not even being funny. Okay, I know this may sound horrible. That's banter, all right? That is pure banter. Eddie Nketiah is not the greatest player of all time. Especially, and he's not South American either. But you think of the Ronaldinhos, the Ronaldos, Brazilian. You know, you can think of the Cafus. You can think of Roberto Carlos's. You can
Garincha,
Garincha, Dunga. You know what I mean? Like Zico.
Carlos Alberto.
Barry Ferguson. Yeah, all right. He's not a Brazilian, really. Bally.
I mean, Zidane and Kaká will probably make that.
Well, here you go. Zidane, Algerian roots as well.
Ronaldinho.
I said Ronald, Big Ronnie. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I'm not being funny. When you think of even racing drivers and fighters, you know, the Anton Sennas, you know, the Anderson Silvas. You know what I mean? Like, you know, for a nation that is supposedly undeveloped in football or sports, you know, they've pretty much nailed it. Here you go. Romario. Yep, I love that guy in all the old school 90s Nike adverts. Romario. Great finish.
Oh, yeah. I forgot the one I actually met, like Rivaldo.
Mr. Bicycle Kick himself. Rivaldo. All these names you can think off the top of my... Georgia Abelza. Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, George. But my point is, if Mbappe is supposed to be a footballer, you should, and basically you can see what everybody else can see. To say that South American football is undeveloped when you look at the players that have come out of there, that's an ignorant comment to make for me. Yeah. And like it comes out of like unless you're blind, you really don't see what the same people that everybody else is seeing. So I appreciate he's keeping it front. And I've got French family. Let me add that. By the way, my sister-in-law is French. My niece and my nephew are French. Their main speaking language is French. They hardly speak a word of English. So, like, you know, communication is a problem with them at times, but I still love them. and Nino will still headbutt me in the stomach if he feels like it. So, there you have it. I would need to say as a Rangers fan, Henrik Larsson. Okay. Good player, Henrik Larsson, but I don't think he would literally go down as one of the greatest ever. He was a good goal. Henrik Larsson was a superb finisher. But JPT, you as a South American, how do you feel what Mbappe said about Argentinian and Brazilian football being underdeveloped?
That's a crazy statement to make. And he said this after the World Cup, I'm guessing, right? Or was this before?
No, it was on the lead up. It was on the lead up.
Before, the week before, in the days building up to it.
So then there you go. I mean, now you got to eat your words. It's, you know, that same country eliminated you, became world champions, and then now Copa America champions, while France, where did they get knocked out of during the Euros?
The quarter.
Semi-finals. Was it the semi-finals or the finals?
No,
I think it was the final. It was the semi-final.
Yeah, it was quarters.
It was quarters. Oh, by the way, and they only scored one legitimate goal, by the way, France. Mm-hmm. Before their attacking firepower, like, if it wasn't an own goal or penalties, they didn't do it.
So it goes to show. I mean, you know, was it you reap what you sow? That's what happens. But I'm not going to be the one to say like this justifies what, you know, following up with the song, with whatever. Even if it was directed at one person, you can say you can even. From what I've seen with the song, I feel like it's a general thing, but it's mainly directed at Mbappe. But you could, because if you hear like the words they say, like they, all of them, it's they kind of going with a bigger blank because obviously there's multiple or almost a lot. Is it the majority of the team that it's kind of like African or like Black French players?
We'll get to
that, but it's a high number because obviously, like England, it had its colonial period where it was invading places like Africa, South America, and parts of North America too. So, that was colonialism back then, definitely.
So, I mean, it's it's gone to a point where it's just gone ridiculous. But now Mbappe knows. And probably will think twice to speak about on shit like this, but you know, he's not. What was I gonna say? Not I would say like he's young, like he's like naive because he's already to the point like maybe.
We had that discussion about Enzo being 23 the other day. So if Enzo's got no excuse, then Kylian Mbappe definitely has got no excuse.
It's to a different like degree. It's just once like you're talking shit in the water, like
along the same line.
Say the phrase, but it's just just
same subject.
Just let your game do the talking. After that, that's it. Because you see how the media will come at you. Like, and I guess the reason why we're talking about it, say Vargas is saying, is because who's the poster boy for all this? Enzo. So it's
Well, this is one of the reasons why, because I want to know, right, where the first thing I've been hearing, and I'm glad no one's actually said this to me and said that it's my fault because I'm a Chelsea fan, because I'm not being funny. Any other Premier League team, I don't care who you are, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, anyone, you want to come to time to say this is my fault and my responsibility, I will smoke you, regardless of your team, because I'm not being funny. And this is a big shout out to John and Kieran, because they came on here to talk about this the other day. And they were saying about with McAllister, about not being part of it. But then McAllister runs his mouth the very next day saying that it was only a mock and that everyone's being too sensitive about it. You're trying to dismiss what's been said. And that's the other thing. Because did anyone read what the Argentinian vice president said after this? What's her name? Victoria Villarreal?
Let me see. I have her name.
It looks like Villarreal, but it's not.
Yeah.
And she came out and said that people are too overly sensitive as well, and that people should not bow down to colonialism, and that they're going to stick to what they know. And it's kind of like, really? And that's the thing, right? Because it's one of those ones where when someone says something embarrassing, but then they carry on. That is what's happened to Argentina. They've said something really embarrassing. They've got caught, but then they've carried on talking. Because if you've got your vice president of your country coming out and saying, well, everyone, you're just colonialists. Oh, yeah, by the way, talking of colonialism, Falkland Islands. So it's like, don't you remember when the Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands? And was it the 70s or the 80s? So you can talk. That's a fine one trying to talk about colonialism. That really is. Like, it's just, yeah. I'm not trying to stick it to Argentina, but you got to put the things in perspective here. Everyone is dirty in one way or another, right? Let's just be real about it, particularly when it comes to government and politics. Everyone is dirty. I hate to burst your bubble, but it doesn't matter who you represent. There's dirt on you in some way, or shape, or form. What about the best tractor drivers in the United Kingdom? I'd be in the top 10, says Anthony. All right. He's driving up his tractor. Hang on, Deals is in the building. Big up, my brother. I hope you are well, my guy. I hope you're doing good. Thank you as well. I want to say publicly, I'm very proud of this guy because the way he handled himself the other day, he tried to be absolutely calm. He was saying, everyone, look,
you really did.
Keep a cool head. Like, let's just leave it for another day. Big up to you, bro. You conducted yourself magnificently the other day. I want to have that said right here, right now. Big up, Mel, in the building as well. The lovely Miss Mel is in the house. Hope you're doing well. Rosie says, Deal says, big up Melina. You wouldn't be Bob the Builder, but Jeremy Clarkson hands down. Okay. Hi, Deals, JPT, and Wolfie. Oh, big up, Rosie. Says, Melo, hope you're well, Mel. Good evening. Victoria Varul, that's the name. Yeah,
Villarreal.
It's like Villarreal, or Villarreal. You got to take our Villa, add that.
If they weren't European enough already.
Add the L. Then, there you go, Villarreal. Left a like here too, but was in JPT's chat. No worries, honey. Any support is up there. Thank you very much. Argentina are known for being racist steals. We'll get onto that later on because me and JPT did a bit of research before we came on here, and we're gonna get into that, brother. So let me just quickly spin down. Steals, absolute legends, and Rosie. You see what Fab said about Aubameyang and Lukaku. So we're not going to talk about transfers today, bro. That's another issue for another day. We can talk about that on Monday, maybe, if you want.
This Monday be fine.
Anyway, everyone, good evening, everyone, from my missus. Hope you're doing well, baby girl, and you're chilling.
Yeah, Miss Wolfie.
I will to her always. She's the only one that makes me howl. I just have to scratch my belly, right? I'm joking. I'm not a dog, you know. But anyway, back to it. But going back on this, the whole purpose of this stream is education, folks. We are not justifying what one said. We are not justifying what the other said. But to have your vice president come out and say that, and then certain other Argentina players who were technically not on camera, but have then come out and defended people afterwards, is kind of like, it's mind-boggling, ridiculous. Now, with that in mind, I want to hear what Bargev's got to say about all this.
We're going in order, right? So 2018 World Cup, Pogba said that. we had Mbappe's comments leading into the World Cup, and during this time, don't forget PSG's getting it is having its internal
Big up,
conflict, right? PSG's
Yeah,
having
yeah.
its internal
Yeah,
conflict.
with the contract situation. Yeah, yeah.
The contract situation with Mbappe, and then like he's also he pretty like he's playing politics with like the South Americans in the team with like there was a big like from reports from what it sounded like there was a big divide in like that
What it's
between
gonna
South
be.
Americans and the French. So this comes out, and then this song, I think like this song got its like it was this the origin of the song is like somewhere around here, right? Like at the World Cup, basically they sang that song. Like people
And
were
it's about his relationship with the trans model as well. I'm not gonna bring her name up because there's no point.
Do they even give her name at all? Like I just know that was just that one.
No, I've read
the
story and I've read into it because he supposedly had relations with this transgender model, but I'm not gonna get into it because she's nothing to do with it. So this particular conversation. So yeah, cool.
And so
Deals, to answer your question quickly before Bargav continues, that is his music stream later on. He'll line, obviously, big music man. There is his channel. Subscribe, like, maybe catch me on there later if I'm like my missus doesn't mind because I'm going to be spending time with her after this. So yeah, but Lion Tech TV, big up to him, big up to Mel as well. Let me quickly go and get her channel name, and there we go. Miss Melina, she's on 823 subs or 8,223. Let's see if we can get it to 850, boys and girls. There we go. Oh no, tell a lie. No, wrong link. But yeah, sorry, Bargav. You were saying, brother. I apologize. You were saying.
I mean, at the same time, when you look at the France, they won the World Cup. They go into it with the whole like golden generation. Like everything's ahead of them, right? Like they had a good team. Give it to them. Like they won the World Cup. They had went into the Euros, didn't win it. The World Cup comes around. There was rising tensions, and then this song comes out of nowhere during that time. No one talks about it then, but like there's like I said, there's always been hostility, right, between those two. And with Messi winning the World Cup, I think like it really killed France. So there's a lot of people in France that did not like that. Like just to keep it.
Yeah.
Because it was, I mean, the French media. Come on, I mean, on one scale, they really wanted Mbappe to have all that fame and all that fame and stuff like that. So now this comes around. The Copa, Mbappe does it again, right? Like he goes to the Copas, and then he's like, "Oh, the Copa America is not as big as the Euros." He does it again. I'm like,
"Yeah, I heard, yeah."
So I'm like, this was a month ago. This was just a month ago. So like.
Yeah, in the build up to this one.
This song, so then this, and then what ends up happening is, so when people were talking about why was the Argentina team was actually like, why were they singing about the French team after the Copa celebration? Because that's probably what led to like all that stuff happening, and that's why that song got its it pretty much
notoriety.
Notoriety basically.
Well, on the song itself, JPT, did you bring the lyrics up?
Now we're getting.
I have it here, and I have like a video from like a year ago where it was these. I remember this video distinctly because a friend of mine sent it to me. They're like,
"Is it the one with the 4 fans?"
Yeah, the 4 fans.
And
it's like they get interviewed like in an Argentinian like media like outlet, and they're singing the song and they have it translated. I mean, I can sing, not sing it along, of course, but like just give the lyrics. And I mean, if it's cool with you and Bargav, I can say it out loud. If not,
go on, say it out loud because there's
no like racial slur in there. Like it's not that, but it's just like, ooh, that's not in bad taste.
No, right? it's what he said. If you want to just like quote parts of it, and this is a quotation. This is not our viewpoint. This is what was said. So just say what it was. And he's not racist, by the way, because he's South American. So no one can say
racist.
All right, my bad.
I am when I'm driving. That's what it is.
That. Check our biases. We're checking our biases right here.
All right. So I have it here. So listen, spread the rumors. They play in France, but they're all from Angola. How nice it is. We're gonna make them run. They are. Let me see here. It cut off. Damn it. Okay, so they got it back playing again. So they're from Angola. How nice it is. We're gonna make them run. They're all tranny eaters like that. Effing Mbappe. His mother's Nigerian. His father's Cameroonian. And let's see. And then but on the document or his passport, they say he's French. So that's the song. Yeah. So I mean, there is a whole part where like, yeah, it's strictly Mbappe, but then there's generalizations of the rest of the team being
and homophobic comments as well.
Homophobic comments, exactly. But of course, the one that's gonna be talked about more is just the racist part. You know, that's the word of the day.
Yeah. Today on Sesame Street, you know, we got the number 25, the color blue, and the letter L. Oh, here you go, Early Doors TV. Big up, Tony. Welcome. How are you,
Tony?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you? All good?
Yeah, we're all right, mate. We're all right. I was stunned during the week where I've seen Chelsea fans and myself referred to as racist because of what Enzo did. So I had to do this stream, man. And as I said earlier on, when it comes to anyone trying to banter me about this, if you support any other top club in England, I'll tear you apart on this because I'm not being funny. I've seen it happen to Deals because Deals had equivalent of people trying to bully him on Thursday by trying to call him a racist just because he supports Chelsea. And like, I'm not being funny. Okay, banter's banter, but when you're trying to say that because he plays for our club and he's on international duty, not having it swallowed. So, bro, what's your take on all this?
I mean, it's an awkward one, isn't it? Because when you think about, you know, there's the euphoria of obviously what they've done in the Copa. But at the same point, when you've got, you know, when you're a high-profile player, you've just got to be careful what you do this day and age. Because as soon as you put it out there, that's it. It's out there. I mean, look at Rodri and the other fella. They're now being looked at because of the comments they made, you know, for Spain. So,
hang on. What comments was this? Can you explain to people?
It was something to do, you know, what's their kind of, you've got the two, what's the best way to word, factions out there. Rodri and the other guy. Yeah. They've made these comments, and I'm trying to think what they are because it got swept under the carpet because I think the Enzo one was quickly pushed to the front. So like Rodri and the other guys thinking, we're doing
thanks,
all right.
Enzo.
Exactly, it's one of those kind of things. But
nobody say a word. Nobody say a word. Just focus on Enzo. Ignore us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bad Enzo.
Hey, Wolfie.
It's the easiest thing, isn't it? Just deflect there, and it's done.
Yes,
Wolfie, what I was gonna say is like, so the Daily Mail like had like the chant, like if you want to like just if you want to share that, because there's a word in there that like. I think that's the trigger for this Enzo thing, actually.
Well, what's the word you're referring to?
No, because it's actually like kind of a bad it's kind of a slur, so I don't want to like say it. So, but okay. Well, whatever.
Send it to me and I'll say it.
All right.
Because I ain't racist. And anyone tries to accuse me of being racist.
Yeah. I'll be honest. That's why I said like just put what the Daily Mail said, like, and you'll see like.
I'm not going to put anything the Daily Mail written on my screen, bro. I don't want that kind of heat. So I will read it out.
Fine, I'll say it. Quote unquote. I didn't even know the Spanish when I speak somewhat. I speak Spanglish. I speak somewhat Spanglish. So, yeah, but you got to know it like when you grow up.
I mean, that makes two of us.
Quote unquote comitrevas, which is a slang term that loosely translates to somebody who has sex with transgender people. Now, this is the part for me, you know, because we were talking about this all week. Because initially, I thought it was just due to some you know, heated rivalry. So like I'm like, you know, let's see what comes out of this. But the thing is, this is discriminatory anywhere you do it, though. Like. In a sense, because if you in any planet, if you say this in any part of the world and you label a certain group as like pretty much like, you know, basically like you're pretty much saying they're all prostitutes basically, and you're labeling that group, that is pretty much discriminatory, right? Now, so that's where I have a problem with this personally. Like that's where I have a problem with this because I think because this is the song itself that this is a case I think it's just gone too far. Now, the next question becomes what are the implications of it, right? The implications of it, because it's going to spill over to Chelsea whether you like it or not, because that's just
Well, no, I'll come on to that in a minute. I'll come on to them in a minute.
Now you guys touched on it briefly on your stream. Like, all right, how far does this extend? All right, Enzo said it, right? Now, the one thing about Enzo, I'll say it in his defense, we've all been like, we've all drank a little bit, we've gone to the club, vibed out it, music becomes a little bit better.
No,
it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse.
As a 40-year-old man, I would never get away with that. So I'll just scrap that one. He said what he said. He said what he said.
He said what he said. He filmed it. That's on stage, right? Like now we're gonna let FIFA investigate that because they're gonna like look at the intent and all that. Like that's what comes with that. So that's why I say like leave that up to FIFA. Now you guys touched on it. Like who else is implicated? The people, the Argentine team. The people. I think it's a slippery slope if you say like all Argentines are that way because
I'll get onto that as well.
Because I think there were people that were trying to say that like, and there were people in Argentina after the song came out denouncing that song in Argentina. So it's a really dangerous slippery slope, that one. So that's where I stand on that one.
Because you can't generalize it. It almost come out as xenophobic. Where like you're saying, this country, of course they do it.
Yeah.
No, so you gotta be careful. You can't fight racism with
well in that case,
discrimination.
Because I understand, because obviously you know why they did it, innit? It's because footballers think they're like rappers, and they were literally sending out a diss song.
Yeah, basically.
That's it. Let's call it as it is.
You just said it.
I mean, it feels like he just came with the A minor.
Yeah, you're not. Yes. Yeah.
They not like us.
Did you see that on stage though? Did you see that on stage when you had to that was mad. But if you know what me and JPT are talking about with the A minor gag,
but that's how it is.
But this how it came across. It came out like these guys thought they were Tupac and they were like, hit them up, bad boy killers, all this kind of crap. Like,
because Enzo really did look like he was vibing out though. Like I'm not gonna like I shouldn't excuse that,
you're doing
but he was essentially like looking that way.
Right.
But
even Cucurella didn't do that. He just sounded like an idiot doing karaoke.
Yeah.
That's there's like so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to put the alcohol in there, but it's
part of it.
Just
it's a part of it.
It does play. It does play because it doesn't make you think
plays
twice.
a factor, but it's not the explanation.
I hear
you. I hear what you boys are saying.
If someone just gave him a microphone and just have him sing the Cucurella song,
hey Tony, do you reckon that's a British thing, right? Drunk or not? Because most British people act the same anyway, whether they're drunk or not. Anyway,
regardless.
I think it might be a British thing because if someone said to me, "Oh right," if I said to Tony in the pub or so, "Oh yeah, I fell over because I was drunk," he'd be fucking pussy.
Yeah, but you know what? Though this is where I get on Enzo though, because Tony was just saying this with the profile that they have. Like them promoting this is not a good look, and it's really uneducated. Like, it's a really bad situation because Enzo should know better because he's a public figure. Say what you want.
Well, this is why, and I want Tony's opinion on this one. When the vice president of Argentina, Victoria Villarreal, or I'm just going to call her that for short because I can't pronounce her second name properly, but when she comes out and says it's just people calling this out, it's just people being colonialism. It's just everyone trying to oppress them. It's just like, really?
It's like maybe you shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, well, this is why I said Argentina is that nation that gives and keeps on giving.
I mean, have you seen the quote? Like, did you say the quote out earlier?
Yeah, I'll just read the. I'll bring the quote up. I'll bring the quote because I had it earlier. So, Vice President of Argentina, right?
I haven't heard
that, Wolfie. I just looked up on that thing. It's so basically UEFA are investigating Rodri and Morata. Apparently, the top of their voice shouted out, "Gibraltar is Spanish." So of course that's just open up awareness kind of thing, like
Yeah, all right. Is that it? Yeah. Is that what it was?
That's what it was. That's probably why the Enzo one took presidents kind of thing. Like, Spanish, Gibraltar. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But the other guy, let's put that forward. Let's put him in the limelight.
Well,
yeah, I mean, this is a sticky issue. Are they public figures? Because they're not politicians, all right. So they're not like the most educated people. Let's just be honest. Like, we can't hold them to like political figure standards. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Well, hang on a minute. FIFA's investigation, the FA. 1 minute, boys. But Tony, your views on this vice president lady opening her mouth?
Hey, yo.
You got to think, again, it comes down to that same old thing. once you're in politics, you've got to make a name for yourself. So when you know history with this country, they're going to be doing, they're going to say these things. I mean, like, not being funny. Trump's a good one for that because he will use that to the hilt because he knows he can maximize the view rate, the click rate, and everything else.
Yeah.
She's probably doing exactly the same thing. It's the case. I can latch onto this.
Well, I found a quote, or she left on her Instagram. She said, "We will not tolerate the actions of colonialist countries. No colonialist country is going to intimidate us for a song on the pitch or for telling the truth they don't want to admit. Argentina is a sovereign and free country. We've had colonies or we've never had colonies or second-class citizens. Falklands. We've never had imposed our way of life on anyone. But we will not tolerate it being done to us either. Enzo, I support you. Lionel Messi, thanks for everything. Always hold your head up, Argentina high." Unquote.
I mean, people try to paint Messi with it, and he's like, he wasn't even there, and he's also warned, people about singing songs. So there's a
video on Instagram actually when you see him. Someone starts a racist chant, and he actually starts waving his hands and says no, because they've actually started showing that around again to try and clear him. You know what I mean? This is him stopping racist chants in the past. Why would he be part of this one? And to be honest, actually, he probably would have been smart to keep his mouth shut. So. Fair play to Messi, but I still think,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I still think having your vice president come out and say that, it's just like, just stop talking. Like I said, it's past that point when someone's embarrassed themselves and they just keep on talking. You know, when they say they're digging, you're just digging a deeper hole. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what we call it over here. So, Tony, your thoughts, man, on the last Barcode and the last JPT.
I don't think it's going to end, is it? I mean, when you look at something, I don't know what Chelsea's doing about it. I know they've opened their own internal investigations on this situation because you've got.
By the way, he's already apologized. By the way, to Wesley Fofana and all them. I know that for a fact because he was made to by Enzo Mascara yesterday. So I already know he has.
When you have 10 players unfriend you on social media and that, I think you kind of got no choice in the matter but to apologise. But the worst part about it is face value. You can do, I can insult any of you guys and that. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm really, please forgive me. Exactly. You know what I mean? Throwing the waterworks and all that kind of stuff. Yet you imagine now, the first couple of games, are these players going to pass the ball to him? Are these players going to support him? This is the problem you're going to get. And I know this new manager's obviously got to kind of deal with that problem. But it could still be a major problem for you guys. 10 players, that's a fair sized chunk of the squad that's thrown there, that's kind of said, you know what, you may apologise, but as much as Bargav said it, they're not that stupid because at the end of the day, when you think about it, when you've got your teammate doing that, it's quite wrong.
No, so for me, I think FIFA do need to come down on this chant because it is really, that's in any part of the world, that is really demeaning. Like, I mean, imagine it like even take French out of it. Anybody who says this anywhere and paints a picture of like a certain group of people, it is really, really demeaning. So FIFA do need to come out on this. Now, as far as like the Enzo situation goes, I don't know. He doesn't seem like it. So listen, as Enzo the player, I absolutely love. I don't know anything about his character. I love the fact that when he plays for Chelsea, all the shots end up in the bleachers. But I do like the fact that he's a fighter for Argentina. But like, as far as his character goes, let's not just kill the guy if he's it's a snapshot picture. But he does have to be educated though. That's for sure. He does have to get educated. He will get a ban for sure though. I think they're going to definitely get.
Well, the thing is, I don't think even if we wanted to get rid of him, because if we're going to get rid of him, that's straight contract termination, because you've obviously made a complete disgrace to yourself. Because I think the idea of selling him is he's hot property, but he's more like hot as in terms of you. Like, police are coming and you've got stolen goods in your hand, kind of like property. You know what I mean? That kind of hot property is like hot potato, hot potato, hot potato. So
yeah, but also But Chelsea can't tolerate this either because it.
Oh no! Wait! That's the thing. Yeah. It's about how Chelsea deal with the player, but we're not responsible for this. This is the reason why I'm going to say this right now. Terry Flewis is a punk. Because when I saw the football terrace the other day, it said about this whole Enzo Fernandez thing, Chelsea mess. Like your problem? What's Chelsea got? What did we win a Copa America? Does Lionel Messi play for us? Where does Chelsea even come in? Don't go. We have to discipline him because on social media he's been misbehaving. That's how you discipline any player. But at the end of the day, how Chelsea have been brought into this is amazing. We didn't win a trophy in this. So you know what I mean. And to be honest, we'll get to the punishment of what they should face. But in the Chelsea thing, I don't think we're going to sell him because I don't think anyone will buy him. But I do think there should be an in-house match suspension, maybe, and you got to make it severe. So we're talking minimum 5 games. Minimum 5 games, because if you're going to make an example out of him, you have to.
And a wage reduction as well.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, you're easily getting fined 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks wages already. That's just the start of it, because you've already breached in the club's policy on internet videos and social media. Because you're already getting screwed. There's just the additional damage. Because if Chelsea players are late, they get fined $3,000. You know that for training. So,
what did Suarez get banned? Like he got banned for
he got banned for 10 games.
Yeah.
Biting and racist comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then it was like 5. It was wasn't it like 10 and then they reduced it to like 5 or something? So
he did all 10 games. I think it was 8. It was 8 games.
It was 8 games.
It was 8 games. Good evening, Drew. Big up to you, sir. Hope you are well. That's the man responsible for my artwork there, ladies and gentlemen. Big up to him, or one of them. But yeah, going back to it. So yeah, Bargav, what's your thoughts on what the vice president of Argentina said? And is she wrong for sticking up for them, or has she just put her head in the noose with them?
Well, I mean, everybody has their self-interest, right? Like, I mean, no one wants to sit there and when you get into that level, you're talking like serious issues now. Like, it's like that at that level, like she has a responsibility to her country, and then it's like, public image and everything. So it's hard to on one hand, I do think for me, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's just so many factors that go into what she said. I mean, she's sticking up for her team. Like, I mean, but it's hard to when you're in that situation. It's like what should have been is like Argentine team is celebrated, right? Because that is probably that feat, like two Copa America sandwiched in between like a World Cup. That is pretty significant achievement, footballing wise.
Yeah, it's serial winning. It's a great achievement. Serial winning. In fact, they've ruined these tarnishes.
This is like.
I don't know, but you're cutting out, Pargo.
Yeah, like what's the worst thing you can? What's the worst thing you can have on a burger? Like relish. It's like, I mean, that's pretty much what happened. It's like you ruined it tarnishes that legacy of that. So, as far as like what she said, I mean, she said what she said. Like, I think the investigation will reveal the rest of that. I can't really get into that realistically. That's too far.
JPT.
I agree. She's it's like keeping face, but more so that she's showing loyalty to the country, and so because at the end of the day, it is Argentina.
Patriotism.
It's patriotism. It's not looking like a traitor. She can easily say like I condemn this. I don't agree. So he's like, oh wow, you're buckling under the peer pressure because they're still gonna see it as their players did nothing wrong, or it's. They'll find some way to justify it, which at the end of the day,
they already have in their own minds justified it. It's just everyone being colonialists and they're trying to repress us.
And then,
which I will get onto, by the way, in a minute with JPT about that. By the way, then. So
and then
keep that in mind.
And even since we were talking about John and Kieran yesterday, even ironically enough, McAllister, I think the next day. Was quoted that he was defending Enzo, like, look, I mean, he's not racist. It was something stupid. Let's just move on with it. These, he might not be caught on camera, or like a lot of these players might not caught on camera. So their innocence really doesn't on that regard of if they didn't record it, as you mentioned, just because I didn't see you on Epstein's Islands. It's pretty much implied seeing who you're next to, who you hang around yourself with. It's not looking good, and even to the point right now that there was an article from the Associated Press that Messi and the president for the Argentina FA, Claudio Tapia, are asked to apologize, and yet I don't think they've done anything. I'm not saying they're not going to, but maybe they really don't think they did anything wrong. So now FIFA really does have to come down on them. And right now these guys are just digging themselves into a bigger hole. The Villarreal lady, she is she's already solidified her stance. I think she's going to represent, what the majority of the at least the Argentina FA is already standing with right now. It's not looking like they're gonna. If anything, if what we talked about is going to stand, do we expect the Copa America and or the World Cup win to be revoked? If it's possible.
Yes, that's what I was going to get onto. What punishment
or what type of ban is the Argentinian FA going to face from international competition?
Well, on that, why? Because that was going to be my next question, and I might as well go reverse order. JPT, like obviously because they are the employees of these boys. Now, okay, people say it's a national team, but no offense, they function like any other club football team now. And if you don't believe me, ask this gentleman here, right? Because he's been involved with West Ham and a lot of other clubs, and he will back you up and tell you there is no way Argentina, the national team, isn't run like a football club. They have their own merchandise brand, all that kind of stuff, everything. As their employees, of their employers, I should say, what punishment should they face?
It's what I think they should face is yes, have at least the Copa America title revoked, and you just wipe it clean off the record as punishment to see how serious they are. You want it, since it does go back to the World Cup, you could even say the World Cup, but their lifeline right now is Messi. Are they really going to take this from him? Are you going to take the arguably the greatest player ever to play the game's only World Cup win away? It's and
come on, you Hammers!
Sevens. I mean, it could be good.
Bro, we'd be lucky if we make that. I don't even know why I'm bantering this guy, bro. I don't over the last 2 seasons, West Ham have finished higher than Chelsea on the main, so I shouldn't even be talking shit. Sorry, JPT, you were saying.
No, you're fine. But then, are they just going to face a ban from international tournaments or international gaming in general? Like, are they going to be banned from this upcoming World Cup and they won't be able to defend? Or is it going to be longer if they do keep their honors? So how long of a ban are we talking about? Like, it's going to be multiple years. Either way, from what I think is going to happen, I don't think it's going to fit the punishment. I think it's going to be a little lenient. I think they're going to keep everything. Probably should just maybe get banned after this World Cup. It's going to be a stupid punishment, I'm telling you.
Bargav?
Yeah, I think it's all going to be perspective, man. I feel like a lot of Europeans want like a really hard punishment on this, and then I feel like there's a lot of people. That will be
Will Smith, man, 10 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of Europeans. I mean, because I mean, look at Rosie. Like she's been on the train for.
Will Smith.
I don't think you could do that. I don't think you could do that because it's not sport and merit. So there'll be massive lawsuits with that one. Personally, like, let's be honest. Like, there's going to be like, I don't think you can strip the typos. Now the people in the Americas are probably going to be like, they're going to want to be a little bit more lenient, a bit more humane. Which, for me personally, like I'm going to be somewhere in between and say like they have to punish this so that it doesn't get out of hand, right? They do have to do it. Like you can't have this happen, like with the transphobic nature of it. So I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll meet in the middle. They'll meet in the middle. That's why I say like leave it up to FIFA on this one, because you can't really. There's gonna be a lot of voices definitely that come into this.
What about your personal view though on it? What would you believe?
What would your punishment be?
For me, I think like okay. So personally, like. Or there's going to be 3 players, right? There's going to be 3 people in this. The Argentine team, is the French team going to get anything for this? Probably not, because they're going they're kind of
They're the victims at the moment, so there's nothing gonna happen. Yeah, that's not gonna happen to them. Even though in this video we've explained there's two sides of this, and Mbappe's not been in the right in this, by the way.
Like what we're saying is it's part of a wider issue. That's what I told you earlier about this. And then obviously it's Enzo, and now you're talking about the Argentine team and the Argentine public. So there's like 5 people, right? So let's go down the line. So Enzo, personally, I think it should be like a ban and education, and there has to be like some statements before it comes back, because he is a public figure. I don't think he might. Sometimes here's the one part is like I don't think he might understand that he has a big influence on the younger crowds. So sometimes like it doesn't get through to these footballers that they do.
Rosie's right.
So I think that's for Enzo. For the Argentine team, there were other people on that video that were like they were going bonkers too, right? They were losing themselves in the celebration.
Right. No one jumped up and went, stop saying that because it's wrong. If you
one coach.
Right, because I'm not being funny. By the way it was dropped to me the other day in a certain conversation we had in Blues Brothers the other day, if you didn't say anything and stand up and say it at the time, then you take responsibility. And as far as I know, other than Messi coming up, I think yesterday or today, and saying everyone needs to act like professionals, no one has come out from the Argentinian national team saying, oh, I didn't say that because it was outright wrong. So in trying to allow it, so to speak, you're not obviously you're not promoting it, but at the same time, you're not condemning it. Making a non-decision is a decision all in itself. So, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's not what you don't do, it's what you do. You know what I mean? Like, and I know sorry, Vargav, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
There was a video circulating, and it was more than Enzo. Like it wasn't just.
Well, either way, I still think the organization of Argentina and FA and the national team, they need to be punished in some, because none of the coaches said, "Hey, stop it!" Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you what, this guy used to be on a coach with the youngsters at West Ham, right? And I guarantee you, if any of them were standing up shouting at profanities outside the window to anyone, they weren't acting like professionals on point. This guy was on them. Don't fuck around in my club. This ain't about you. You're about West Ham Football Club, son. And I'm not being funny. All that indicates to me is that if that's the truth, footballers, because of the arrogance of their profession and their paychecks, don't think they can conduct themselves in the right way. Now, I'm not being funny. If that means you have to restrict their wages and bring it down a notch or two and ban them from social media too, because there's two kinds of punishments for this, by the way. There's what Enzo Fernandez should face as a Chelsea player, and also what he should face as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he has to be dealt with as an individual.
This is not the first time they've done this.
No, it's not. And I'm not being. And go on, Tony, you might as well chip in. Like, what's your take on all that then?
Well, as you said, it's not the first time they've done this, and you know, for Enzo to kind of say like, "I'm very sorry" in that, but you guys have already sung these kind of songs before, and you got to think out in their country, it is a common phrase. They will use the N word. They'll drop it in there quite often, religiously, because it is their culture. But when you're on the international stage, as you said, there's a conduct. You know, not only, I mean, like you said, with the vice president, it's her country. It's also the players' country. You're representing your country, and now what you've done is put your country in the bad light. There's no two ways about it.
As we put it, you put your country in the bin.
Yeah, this is the thing, kind of thing. And then, but if Messi's been thrown, because obviously, look, same thing again. Let's put the face of Argentina. Messi, can you just have a word and put yourself in front of that microphone, and once you say things, that's it. We don't need to worry about anything else, because the great Messi has said something. But no, as you said, if no Argentina player thinks himself, he's got a point, I'm going to come out and I'm going to say something, and none of them have, then it just shows you they couldn't give two tosses basically about it whatsoever.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be forced to, though. They shouldn't be forced to.
Oh, absolutely. They should be. I mean, because like as you've already alluded to, the three of you, it's the fact of the two players that kind of really, or the players that were kind of mostly involved in that. One, they should be fined by their respective clubs, and secondly, they should also be dropped by their national team. And as you said, for the punishment and one thing else than that, you can tell that it's literally going to be the worst case scenario is 5 games they could be going to be banned from.
Nah, yeah. I
So
think
get rest before the World Cup, then, pretty much.
Because you know full well in there, if you don't have them players in, then we can't sell merchandise. We can't we can't sell tickets. We can't. Swings and roundabouts, JBT. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
Do you think no player? I want to ask this, and yes, with Barga too, and of course Wolf. Do you think the players are not saying anything because there's in their mind they're stuck in between a rock and a hard place where like I can.
Bro, they're not saying anything because it's classic guilt trip. They're worried if they open up their mouths because I'm not being funny. That's what you do when you're in trouble. You shut up.
That's what I'm saying, but like, is it? But like, they're also think about it. They're similar to what the vice president was saying. Like, you either stick by your country, be a patriot.
No. But that's
or become a traitor. Right. But I'm saying
that's very black and white. I'm not being funny, right? If it was put across to me in that particular regard, I'd say, look, man, I'm not a 1950 American fight the communist like Cold War video.
Mm-hmm.
You know, about you're this way or you're that, you're red or you're blue, you're black or you're white, you're racist or you're not.
Right.
That's not the thing. Is, as I said about this whole stream, it's not about painting out who's the villain and who's the hero in this piece, because realistic, if you analyze it deeply, there's racial implications in both.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of the stream, how can Mbappe sit there and say that South American football in any way, shape, or form is underdeveloped when we even spoke earlier and said that 4 of the greatest players of all time, being Messi, Pele, Maradona, and Ronaldo, 3 of them are South American.
It's not just that.
It's education. How could you even Mbappe come out and say that when the proof's in front of you? Even some of the greatest players that played for European teams have been my club, our club, Chelsea, Didier Drogba is about as least European as you can get. And on the African front, God bless Africa, Michael Essien, Didier Drogba, Simon Kat. God bless Africa, the motherland. God bless it. I'm grateful all those players came through. You think I gave a shit, yeah? Like Drogba, Africa when he scored the World Cup, like that Champions League final goal. I was blessing Africa that night, my bridge. And the thing is, that's the thing,
man.
Bro, it's true though. But the thing is, but it's true. But it's true because you gotta look in the roots. No, it's true though.
It is true. But I'm saying it's like
no
I'm
one's
trying to figure out
bro.
why
No
they're not
one is
saying
pure.
anything, or why is
because anything they say is it's going to get dissected by that. It's the international media, so it goes out the international media.
They can't come out with PR comments.
But they can't come out. I mean, you're gonna get that. But the thing is, listen, the Mbappe thing is demeaning also because he's never played in that competition. He has no clue what that competition's like. He's generalizing and trying to put down a competition.
Oh yeah, say because he said the Copa America was
like
the Euros. By the way, let me just put that into context because we haven't said what he said about the Copa America. We've said he slandered.
I'll be honest. The Copa America itself. This was Copa America, and I'll say why, but go ahead.
I mean, trust me. We I could go off on that. Let's not go off on that tangent between the two competitions because. We'll be here all day.
No. But the thing is, it's part of the issue.
It is part of the issue. It is part of the issue. But the thing is, you can't. The guy has massive influence. So how come that should be held to account too?
They got to the blue board.
So when you have massive influence, I think none of these players get this part. Is they have massive influence. Mm-hmm. One thing that anything they put on their Instagram, that's going to like globally, right? So and it's not going to be taken the same way every single place either. So you're going to have this you're gonna have this like nightmare PR, this thing where you click send, it's like you're waiting for like the end, you're waiting for like days to figure out what's gonna happen. But like people want to avoid that drama and stuff like that. So I think that's why I keep saying like because there's gonna be a European point of view, there's gonna be an American point of view, like it's gonna be somewhere in the middle. There's gonna be a lot of voices when they decide this punishment. So that's why I keep saying like wait for the investigation on those things.
Exactly. The investigation needs to be done like right away. Of course, I mean, how long do you think the investigation is going to take place too? Because you don't want them to take it like solve it too quickly to come off like they don't care. If they take too long, it's like, are they just really just kicking a can down the road?
I mean, when the Suarez thing came out, they had like language interpreters. They went like the whole 9 yards with that investigation. So it's gonna be the same exact thing with this one.
And that was just one player.
That was one player. But the same thing with this. The same thing with like what he was saying. Like he does represent Chelsea Football Club, right? And it's not a knock on Chelsea. The way we know the
No,
history.
he doesn't, because with the
No.
team he was playing for was the Argentina
No.
national team. He
But
was wearing the shirt,
he's
bro.
saying, yeah, like he pulled out his ID that it says Argentina, but the thing is that end of the day we're associated. I mean, I think this was
No.
what
He's
he was-
our employee.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it would be if he got into a
He was
fight
working
in the
his
night-
second job.
Look. Yeah, exactly. Unless he, don't get me wrong, if he made
Times
it,
are hard.
you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I appreciate what you're saying in terms of, because it's a PR mess we have to deal with in terms of what the disgrace he's brought us. It's like when you get a child just got arrested and caught, like you look at our shit. Look what my kid's done. You know what I mean? Like, oh dear. Yeah, I understand as the employees we've got to deal with him. But the funny thing you got to understand is, like, at the same time, it's like when one of our players, like when John Terry went out and got caught drinking and all that, and he got arrested because he got his ass kicked one night. It's not our fault John Terry was out fighting. That's on him as an individual, because he wasn't at Chelsea at that time. Don't get me wrong. Don't mix up the person with the profession.
Yeah, no, but
because if you can't keep the two separate, then you're already off this conversation.
No, but you have to listen to what I'm saying though, because like me and Tony, we could sit here and be eating popcorn and like taking in the Chelsea and taking in the mess you're in, right? We could do that.
No, we're not. We're not in a mess. We have a player we have a player to JPT. Have we dealt with bad seeds before at the club?
We have. I'm just saying,
John Terry, Kalahar
like,
Belarus, Adrian Mutu. He's just the one of a line to me, bro. We had a cokehead at our club. Do you forget Adrian Mutu? Sniffed the line. You remember that? Like, dude, this sort of shit, when it comes to Chelsea, John Terry racism, all that kind of stuff with Raheem Sterling and what's it? Oh, Anton Ferdinand, excuse me. Don't think we're used to this by now, bro. We're not drinking in Chelsea tears. We want to throw the book at Enzo Fernandez, like, because we're bigger than him.
No, I get that.
By miles. Like, you can drink in what you think is tears all you like.
It's just brought us unwanted attention.
No, listen,
really
unwanted. Exactly. Yeah, it's unwanted. It's bad PR, bro.
But the thing is that now, like, the discussion, what they say, like, are we gonna, try to sell Enzo with the board that's putting profits before anything?
Thank you, Deals. You're actually, people are trying to take away from what the issue actually is. Thank you very much. Saying Chelsea is racist does not help solve.
That's
Argentina made a racist.
No, but some people have been like, well, it's
I get it. I get it.
No, but explain to Bargov.
No, I get that because Chelsea with the history it has. And listen, I know Chelsea, like, it's like a glamour club. I know it's the place in the world. Like, I'm not like ignorant to that part. Like, but the new age Chelsea doesn't tolerate this shit, right? Like they're gonna send a strong. They have to deal with the situation, and whatever it does, it's still gonna have it's still gonna have global implications. So you're just gonna have to wait on that. But like, but it doesn't. But it's still. But if you're gonna say it extends to the Argentine, right, it's gonna definitely extend.
I hear what you're saying, but in terms of a context of an issue of this kind, but of even greater proportion, we've already handled things like this. Because if you look at when we had our takeover with Roman Abramovich, and Thomas Tuchel was the face of Chelsea for a little while, and he was saying about all the PR about, oh yeah, what do you think happened in Ukraine right now? And Thomas Tuchel said, like, I'm a football manager. I'm in a privileged position compared to these people. I don't have the right to say about what they're going through because I don't understand it, because I'm not in their shoes. And that was when the British government, hey, dude, if we survive the British government, bro, we'll survive anybody. And that includes Enzo Fernandez. So I'm not being funny. Even
the club's tarnished with the same brush. That's the problem you've got.
That's the thing. Yeah, of course.
That's the problem you've got. And this is what, as you said, any club really, or any workplace can't tolerate that kind of thing, because at the end of the day in there, your club's been put into the limelight all for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. Bad PR.
That's the problem. And this is what the player himself has got to, really kind of consider his actions, what he's going to do in the long term. That's big up Moss. I mean, fun enough, just looking on that, I was saying about that Gibraltar one kind of thing. At least UEFA are acting a lot quicker than what FIFA are, by the sounds of it, because they're saying there's a possibility that both those players could face a too-much ban for future UEFA games. So at least there's punishment coming for them too.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest, on Enzo's front, if you want to talk about punishment he's facing Chelsea, definitely your wages are suspended for a month.
Mm.
And I'm not being funny, and I'm not done there as well. And you're getting a hefty fine. I want this guy like in the mills. Fined in the mills, because I'm not being funny, and of course he can afford it, and I'm not being funny yet. I think we should pretty much, because if Suarez was the kind of indication of how to handle this thing, then fine, drop an 8-9 match ban on him straight. Because I'm not being funny. We've seen situations like this, like where look, if he's done the crime, make him do the time, and that's the end of it.
What's his wage bill, Wolf? What's he get
Well,
paid a week?
he's on 120 grand a week.
So yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm not here like celebrating this. This is a very unfortunate situation for Chelsea.
Oh
right?
no.
It's a very unfortunate situation. I'm not like laughing
Yeah,
at
it is an unfortunate. But anyone trying to point the break, even though like Tony just said, it paints us with a certain brush, but it doesn't mean we're the artist of the piece. You know.
I mean, you're gonna be involved in the finish, though. Sadly.
No. You know, I hope because we have to, because like was said a minute ago, like, and even like you and Tony have both alluded to, it's now forcing our hand, whether we wanted to deal with it or not. So, if we handle this right, we get everyone's respect, and Enzo looks like a complete cunt. And yes, I said the word cunt because he is.
Well, this also, but the one big implication I will say, and this is for Chelsea, right? Look at Maresca. So this is going to show like Maresca and his like it's gonna highlight his like coaching ability too, because to be a manager of Chelsea. Listen, Chelsea, regardless of what people think, like tribalism aside, it's a big club. Like it's a big club. It's a glamour club. So if we're gonna figure out his, you can look at it and be like, coach. If you're gonna have a coach to coach Chelsea, it's an opportunity for him to like showcase what he can do management wise, because he's gonna be a big role. He's gonna have to play a big role in like stabilizing the dressing room.
I hear you, but that would have been the same whether this happened or not, because it's Chelsea Football Club, and if you don't cut the mustard, you're out the door. Simple as that.
Right.
Well, that's the standard me, JPT, and everyone have been used to. So, and I'm not being funny. If you could get rid of Thomas Tuchel to bring in Harry Potter, or like, you know what I mean, like, yeah, or Pothead as I call him quite often enough. But it's just one of those ones where, like, yeah, I'm not being funny. If you're gonna maintain the chopping block status, then I want to see it done with this guy as well. So, you know, and I'm not being funny. Like with Enzo, like I do think a massive fan. What 10 game ban? Would everyone say that would be fair? 8-10 game, between 8 and 10 games.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Education. I'm not for forced like public talks either. So if he wants to do it, like, you know, all the they'll make him go public, do all these like public talks and stuff like that. So
the funny thing is, hang on, just on Deals' point, he says about if he didn't take any part in the beginning of Chelsea's team. Well, the funny thing is, we just signed Dewsbury Hall that does the same job as this guy in a different way, just slightly further up the pitch. So I'm not being funny, and Conor Gallagher can be back into the picture as well, because I think that's another guy. Like it's kind of been like banned for an entire season would be too harsh. I hear that, but in that case, then you got to do something of that level to the Argentina national team, and because of Monsieur Messi, and money in football is still money, like, and that still makes the world go around, unfortunately. So these guys are going to get protected up the backside. You know that for a fact. So you know that is, I don't know, an entire season, but definitely I think 8-game, 10-game ban, definitely like just full pay suspension for at least a month. You know what I mean? Like, because like, if you're gonna hurt him, you might as well try and hit him in his pocket. And I'm not being funny, that they like sending these guys to re-education centers and doing little courses and all that kind of thing. I actually think you should actually kind of treat him like a criminal and make him do community service or something like that.
No, they're gonna do that. They're gonna do that. Like, it's the sad part. Like, it's like the whirlwind of this. Like, he's gonna be tarnished with this regardless.
JB, they brought it up, right? As the other Chelsea fan in this conversation, how do you feel he should be punished?
You know, like you said, pay suspension. I say at least 10-game minimum. If Suarez already got 8 games from before, so if that was the level, we gotta do one up. And I think the more games he misses, I wouldn't care too much, because if
who
it does
cares,
make
Gills?
a statement,
we'll deal with Chelsea and that's it. Who cares what everybody else does?
They'll make the statement. Like, who cares if this guy costs 107 million? Suspend him for 10 games at least. They have to do what they can to make the job possible for Maresca. You know, he just got here. He's going to come into a locker room full with the racial divide. Come on, please. Give him a chance. And also not even just that, but also if we don't do something that's sufficient, what does that say if you're a French player or a black player and Chelsea are interested in signing you? You really want to go to a club that, you know, they don't see you
Wait, well, that's funny you mentioned that because it's strange because this is why Chelsea aren't in the mud because we have players of that descent in our squad. 10 of them have just unfollowed their teammate, like Tony pointed out earlier on. So, in terms of we have more victims than guilty parties at Chelsea. So, I'm not being funny. It'll be interesting to see if this guy is axed totally and made to train on his own with the potential maybe of selling him. But to be honest, I don't see anyone wanting to sell him because for me, if you're going to get rid of him, look, straight contact, you violated your contract. You're not supposed to do stuff like this. Sorry, bish, bash, bosh. You will either just terminate his contract and be done with it or suspend him. And I'm not even being funny. We may not even need to because the FA and them are going to get involved in this because he still plays in England for club and country. So we ain't even got started on what the English FA will do to him yet. So, because that's the other factor because we're just talking about dealing with this in-house. There ain't no way the English FA ain't going to take this opportunity not to fuck us with this.
Of course they are. They're because obviously it's you, innit? It's Chelsea at the end of the day. If they can turn you over, they're going to do that. I will say this though: if you are going to put him on community service, make sure they give him B&Q paint or Home Depot paint for you guys in America. You know, the cheap nasty paint kind of thing. So when he paints it, the shit still comes through, kind of thing. You know, got to make sure you give him that the real good stuff if you're going to give him community service.
Yeah, I hear you.
Feel the pain.
But wouldn't it fall under the Chelsea execs to get all these players in a room and like iron just like
already been done,
iron it up? All right, so I mean that's not
already been done.
I don't want to go that deep on that.
No. Yesterday, I know this for a fact. Enzo had when I say Enzo, I meant the manager. He had a group of them in a room yesterday where he was made to apologize to them. But like Tony said, how much of a difference that makes?
Barely.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not being funny. Any Arsenal fan will know this. If he gets treated like Kai Havertz did when he first went there, went to Arsenal, where no one wants to pass with him, no one really likes him, everyone's avoiding actually playing the ball to him, then he's just gonna look completely lost. But for me though, I tell you what, gives Conor Gallagher another shot though, because I'm not being funny. If Enzo gets dropped out of that team, the natural person to put in his place would be Conor Gallagher because he's already there.
He's not sold.
Yeah, God,
he's not sold yet.
No, if he isn't sold by then. That's the thing.
Well, if we have to get rid of him, say the FA demand we get rid of him.
The thing you've got to consider as well, Wolfie, I think one thing we've got to mention about all this, and we're saying about all the players and whatnot, but you still got to face the home crowd.
Yep.
You know?
That's true.
That's going to be, for any player, that's going to be a hard mountain to climb.
Imagine the ripple effects.
It's bad enough facing your teammates, but when you think you're paying, you're seeing the fans that put money into the club, and you've got a player doing that to their club. I mean, used to a Chelsea guy say, "Look how it's made you feel." So, and also even for Deals and the other guy that So when you look at something like that, yeah, it's going to be very unsettling. But you know, the flip side of that is he has a blinder in a game, scores a goal, and then suddenly it's a case of we don't think, we all's forgiven kind of thing. That's how it's going. Thoughts on Gallagher in England squad? Dead wood. That was a waste of time.
See, my thing with always this is like, be careful about like a super like don't kill players' careers over like one moment. Like people can turn their lives around. So
his career is dead, but like you said, it's incredibly embarrassing.
It is incredibly. I mean, that's why I said like it's regardless of what it's going to be tarnished with him for the rest of his life.
I can guarantee,
And the ripple effects. Imagine the ripple effects we're talking about. It's going all the way to Gallagher. Like, I mean, just because of like one moment. Like we're talking about Gallagher because of like one moment. So it's like there's gonna be massive. So Chelsea, however they handle it, like they'll handle it the way they see fit. It's a glamour club. I'm pretty sure like the management will figure that out. But just be careful of like I guess like an implosion with the squad because it's been done at PSG already. So. That's pretty much what happened at PSG.
Well, so because I'm not even gonna get into the PR nightmare that Mbappe was for PSG and how the contract thing and how he said it was all said that he would agree that he would stay. Then it wasn't. Then he said if you guys didn't meet a set standard.
Oh, media's loving this. Media's probably loving this. I mean, they have things to talk about for days. Like,
by the way, on this one, I want to say to Anthony, listen, all right. Spare Sports for poor Cole Palmer. He never even started the game. He never even got a chance to start Distractor for 90 minutes. Like there was so many questionable choices. Why did Harry Kane start all these games? For example, another one. Like that's the reason why England looked so bad through most of it, because they had no one leading the feffing line until Ollie Watkins started doing it properly. But he can't start a game either. Big up Ollie Watkins, by the way.
Sorry about that. What I said though, like I should say, media has stuff to talk about for days. It's just like that's just the implication of all this. It's just it's gonna be there's gonna be a big scope.
Day for media.
They're gonna be it's a scope. It's just there's gonna be a big scope on
I'm glad I did this, because at the end of the day, I just wanted to lay the facts out. And if you've watched the whole stream,
we went like down the rabbit hole.
We went all the way to Wonderland, mate. But the thing is, you need to, because if you're going to get into something like this, you need to find out what both parties said.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because and on the whole racism thing, right? I know, and people said about like with the European countries about slavery and stuff like that. And it's funny because if you actually know anything about slavery, particularly how it ended, the reason why slavery ended in the triangular slave trade, like for example, that ended because of England solely. And by the way, I'm Irish roots, but I have to say it was because the British Navy started saying, all right, then cool. Like, we're going to start taxing you lot on slavery because we've now abolished it, because we've got the most powerful Navy on the planet and have for the last 100 years. You will now do as you're told. Otherwise, we'll take your ships off you. And that's how it started. What was it called? The West Africa Patrols, they were called originally. But yeah, go and have a look at that. But yeah, but the whole thing of this one is you could argue there's racial undertones both ways, from what Mbappe said about South American football, and then how they retort about what they say about African players. Because obviously that's the other element about this. How's all the African side of the people, because there's lots of African players, how are they now looking at Enzo Fernandez thinking like, what, where did this come from? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because there's lots of African players in the Premier League. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy gets some serious tackles from people like Moses Caicedo and Onana and them in the Premier League this season, where he's going to get broken in half when he does play. Mm-hmm. Believe that, because they're not going to be nice to him. Because that's the thing, we love ourselves a public enemy in England. We love someone to point our fingers at and call a villain. So, and Tony will back me up on that. You know what I mean? We love being politically correct over here. Jesus. But big up Dimes in the building as well. Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're good. You're doing more stuff. But anyone got any final thoughts on this before we wrap this up?
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess you were gonna say like, I was gonna say for people, like, it's like this is where like it's just a really big issue. Be careful with the just be careful, definitely like understand each other's sensitivities on this one, because that's I think that's the thing I wrote last time is because there's because we could go, it's very far reaching, this issue, but the chant itself, I guess we should, if you want to end up with that one, everyone's gonna figure it out, like it's gonna get figured out in time. That's all I'm gonna say on that one.
Okay, JPT.
One thing I wanted to point out that Tony says, like, imagine the home crowd. I think isn't our first home game versus City?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, what a time! What a time! And that's not going to cause more pressure, more of a debate locker room, because those tackles are going to be nasty, as you mentioned. It's going to, I think, after right then and there, they're going to make a decision what to do with the Enzo suspension. If not, this divide is going to get worse. It's going to get to if not already, the PSG levels. So we'll see what happens with this. Hopefully they come up with something, or some new updates with this come up. And I hope FIFA comes down on Argentina, at least gets some type of acknowledgement. Also, I wish we had addressed this too earlier. What is the French Federation doing? That they're filing a lawsuit?
Yeah, they filed a lawsuit.
Yeah. Let's see. So hopefully we can talk about that if there's any updates with it. But this has been a fun stream. I'll be real.
Okay.
I mean, we could keep going if you guys want, but like.
Oh no!
So I was like,
no. Me and JPT is an additional thing we wanted to talk about, because this is about South America in generally speaking. Yeah. But I wanted to get everyone's thought. Tony, is anyone else want to because we're going to leave the Enzo thing alone, but there's something I got here that got sent to me by someone who's South American after the Blues Brothers treatment, and I want to read out loud in a minute and get everyone's thoughts on this. So we're not done with the subject, but I'm just done particularly with Enzo Fernandez, right? Because right now it's about we all know he's guilty, isn't it? It's just about how he gets punished. That's basically
that's the last bit I want to add on to that. Wolf, I think if you look at it, it's now in FIFA's hands to act swiftly, and not drag the arse out of it, because I think everyone wants now to know what is what's the final impact. Let's kind of get this done, dealt with, drawn under the carpet, and let's move on. But if they drag the arse out of it, it then kind of, in certain respects, it kind of loses impact.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to make sure that you put impact in, because if the club doesn't do it, then you expect the actual footballers, FIFA itself, the governing body, to do something about it as well, because it's got to have an impact. And if they don't give that, then it just means nothing, basically, at the end of the day.
Well, the one thing about this is and this is the one thing we all agree on, that the fact of it, it's not one of those ones where it's an accusation or it's you're 100% red-handed call. This is blatant. You've recorded it yourself and posted it. You said, like Rosie said, this is pretty indefendable. So you know what I mean. That now it's about, that's why I said a minute ago about them taking the right action. And I'm not being funny. Like JPT said as well with the Suarez thing, there's already examples of this that's happened in England before. And if we're going by examples, 10-game ban this. And I'm not being funny. I wouldn't be surprised if we give them a game ban and then FIFA add their game ban on top of it. So we could end up missing 16 games instead of, say, just 10. Like I said, it'll be interesting how this works out. But, time will tell. Sorry, Bargo, you're saying.
I'm curious what other stuff. Like, I mean, we already mentioned the Rodri thing. There's going to be a bunch more stuff coming out. So this is going to be that's another thing. But go ahead with your South American.
Yeah, listen. This is a quote, right? This is from RSM-0910, who watched my Blues Brothers stream the other day, and he left a very, very powerful message, right? And I'll read it out to you. Big up to you, sir, whoever you are. If you're a subscriber or just someone that watched it, big up to you, because he went, and I quote, "As a South American and one who is not white, Argentina is notorious for its racism and xenophobia towards other South Americans because there are perceived superiority for being closer to Europeans. It was well known and documented in the ethnic cleansing that Argentina did to their black and indigenous peoples. This means Argentina is majority all-white country, and they see casual racism they throw around to other countries as banter because they have literally no black or indigenous people left in their country to tell them otherwise. To see these Liverpool brothers run defence for McAllister was always silly, and it was now doubly so after these comments that McAllister said that the chant was a bit silly and mocking and that Europeans were just being sensitive. This has been the Argentinian playbook to dismiss casual racism to others in South American countries for years, and just now has hit the international stage. Why this racism may be a surprise to Europeans, there are no South Americans who are surprised by this, and that the Argentinian national team would chant this song. Saying McAllister is innocent because he wasn't on cam might be technically true, but in true, the same way anyone who was close to Epstein and was seen in the photos of him on the island is technically innocent because there is no video, but we all know the truth. Big up for having this discussion. Shout out to Pram for actually trying to take this point past childish tribalism and really to having this racism taken out of the game. Reaction, boys, and I'll start off with Tony.
Strong words and a lot of meaning and relevance behind that. And the shame that, the clubs and the associations don't come out with comments like that, because then it clears the air for everyone. Then we know exactly where we stand. And obviously, like I said earlier, we move forward. We want to sweep this under the carpet. We want football to be enjoyable. We
You
don't
mentioned that, Moss.
wanting these things in the background that kind of basically hurts our clubs, impacts the players, and more importantly, in that gives damage to the fans. And that's it's a vicious circle.
Yeah, and they genuinely believe they did nothing wrong. Yeah, well, go on, JPT. Say you're a South American, bro. What's your take on that? Because me and you were talking about this earlier before we came on. So, do you feel as a South American and Peruvian, if I remember correctly, you're saying your culture is like that? Do you feel that sometimes you feel that what that was said? Like, I mean, there's a bit of biasness maybe from Argentinians towards other South Americans. Have you felt that?
Directly from Argentina, no, but they do. I see. It's weird to say because I'm on camera, like, oh, let me be xenophobic for a second. No, but it's you can talk to Argentinians, and a good amount of them like don't even see themselves as Latinos, so they do have that superiority mindset because like they're European and we're like as Mbappe said, undeveloped like nations or football. as he tried to camouflage. So they had that mindset. I mean, I think even Zanetti, Argentinian defender.
Javier Zanetti. Zanetti.
He said he's on video and he's like genuinely believes he's like, I don't feel Latino. I feel in my blood Italy. It's that mindset. It's what I'm also saying. Like even the vice president lady said they did nothing. They generally don't believe it that it was wrong. Like because that is the culture and not just when it comes to race too. I'll admit that Latin America still has that like. There's like I guess it's colorism or even because they're Latinos, but they're like there's that
segregation
with like the like Afro Latinos. It's theirs, but when you have Argentina, who's like again, they see themselves as the Europeans society, I guess. I won't say like citizen, of course not, but they do have that superiority complex, and even what was it that thing that I showed you? Like there was even like a racial washing like in Argentina, where like we
cleansing.
Cleansing.
Ethnic cleansing is what the word was described when it came down to the indigenous populations and the black population. Like they were forced to the north, apparently.
But now you can argue as well, like, so what does it do with today? Because then it's like, you can argue or make the argument of, so by that way, I say there's no way that Germans are racist because of what they did. See,
yeah,
you're gonna get up.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Germany as well, because a lot of German criminals of war fled to Argentina after the war, and that's a fact as well, because they caught loads of them there. So, and this is not me taking digs at the Argentinians. This just happens to be a fact. And when about colonialism, and you laugh when you hear what that is, because I said that about what she said about the colonialism stuff, and Tony laughed because he remembers it as well about the Falklands when they tried invading the Falkland Islands. And all that kind of, what I mean? So it's all about really, and I'm not being funny, like you've done it more recently than England. So it's kind of like really, and England were the ones that defeated you. So it was just kind of like, yeah, like when people come back, it's uneducation. Like I've been saying this whole stream. And this is the thing, if their president, the vice president doesn't know diddly squat, it's a bit like, bite your fingernails really, because it's kind of like these are the people that are supposed to be in charge. And again, I'm not taking away from the Argentina, the coaches, because the coach of Argentina even come out and said he didn't do anything wrong. He's just young. I don't want to hear that rubbish. There's 14, 13, 15-year-olds out there that help support their families. How are you trying to justify the fact he's young because he's sitting there comfortable with his friends, maybe drunk, maybe not, enjoying himself in ridiculously high wages? And how can you say it's because he's young? It's not even that. It's because he's comfortable and he's ignorant, and you're seeing what they're really like.
How young is he? How young is he?
What, Enzo? He's 23, bro.
Okay, and what was it discussed earlier that these players, even though they're young, they have this influence? Would you think Yamal would do anything as stupid? I mean, of course, like the whole thing wouldn't work because he's himself black, but in some type of being in a racial, I guess
descent
atmosphere, yeah. He's 17. He just turned 17, and he has more sense. So that's why I'm saying that at 23, you should know better. At least know that if you're gonna record yourself, don't post it. What is your social media, and why do your followers need to see you do this stupid shit?
Mm-hmm. You kind of dawns you if you want to think about it even deeper, even more. You kind of think about Enzo Fernandez and how stupid he is, because you just kind of like, in what part of your head made you think this was all right? Like you weren't going to get punished for this? Because I'm not being funny, right? Because he, like he said, he's not new to it, the social media thing. These guys, as well as being football players, are their own individual brands and franchises. So how in the blue hell did you expect no one to notice this? Like it's just a lack of common sense. Too much, too soon.
Yeah, but you remember the word they used? I got caught up in the euphoria of it all.
Yeah, that's why.
And that was them. Wait, that was them feeling good. Can you imagine if they felt bad, what they might have said?
I mean,
I know what they said. I heard my dad say it.
This is where I said like the alcohol thing. That's why I said like it's gonna be bought into it. Like, but
the point still stands, because this is them being nice. Imagine what they're not being. Because I'm not being funny. If all four of us were drunk together, we'd be like, you silly sod, what are you doing? That's banter. Say like, oh no, your mum's this and your dad's that. Nah.
But
I've never bantered anyone in the pub like that. I can guarantee you. I would have got my head kicked in.
Yeah, but this is where I keep saying, like, I mean, it's the same thing with the French. They could have done it. Like, it's dangerous to do that. To say just because it's not out there, it's dangerous to like just paint everybody as like nice figures and all that.
I don't know what Chelsea fans Rosie's seen. Send them to me.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to say about this, this guy's interesting. I don't know who wrote that, because I saw that comment, right? And there's a couple of things. I live in Florida, so I have to be. I'll tell you, like, I do have to. I speak Spanish, and I do encounter Latinos. Some of them say the same thing about Argentina, but at the same time, be careful. Bien gracias. You said, but like.
Gracias.
One thing you got to keep in mind, this is where I keep saying, because this is we have 4 different individuals here, right? And we're having this stream. That's why we're being very objective. If you had 2 Europeans, they'll probably see it differently.
We're very multicultural here. We've got a South American, we've got a North American, and we've got a West Ham fan.
So sometimes it's important to take your bias out. Yeah, and
I got Herbert's tractor.
Both the guy above me and me. We're both from the East End, so we are very much in the multicultural world.
Yeah. All we care, we don't care if you're black, white, brown, yellow. As long as you pay for the next round, solid gazer.
But even the panel is divided and segregated. Look, they got the brown guys on one side, and they got the white guys on the other side.
Oh shit!
I'll tell you, it's true. It's true. It's true.
Cancel StreamYard. Oh, look, the white guy took over.
My show. Get him out of it.
I was going to say, JPT, blame the host.
Wait, I don't control StreamYard like that. All right, don't blame me. I'm not racialist.
It's sad. I know some people that do actually think that way. It's like I can't.
JPT will be like being a git by pointing that out. Wait. What are you trying to say? Is it because the brown guy's on the right side?
This episode of Sesame Street was brought to you by the Hard R.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that actually. I'm gonna do that right when we run out. I'm gonna say brought to you by Sesame Street, Chelsea Football Club, and the letter Y.
People only.
So can I say one thing on this, because
Tony's never bought around. Tony, there's rumors coming out about you.
I'll just the answer as well, though. You can have a look at that, Wolfie.
Tight up.
Too right.
Fair enough. Great way to end. No, joking.
And I mean, you can buy my scotch when I get there, but
there you go.
But here's the thing, like, I mean, I encounter like a lot of Hispanics, so there's people that have said this to me for years, like, about Argentines, but like, do I like take it? For me, I treat people as individuals, so you're good to me, I'm good to you. But like,
anyone would, because
that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's just tribalism or group mentality or crowd mentality or following. Because that's the problem these days, really, right? And I'm not going to get it, and it goes back again to lack of education. Individualism is something that's been heavily eradicated in this era, in terms of. If you're a trendsetter, you're all right. But instead of everyone else just doing something different from you, everyone else will copy you.
Yeah. I mean, I know what you mean. Yeah,
like I'll give you an example, right? For example, if you're a guy, you're supposed to have a lot of money, and you're supposed to work out. Maybe your name's supposed to be Nigel or something, and you're a business accountant or something like that. If you're a girl, you're supposed to go gym. You're supposed to have the long eyelashes. You're supposed to have a big ass. All this kind of like stereotypical crap that comes with like social media nowadays.
Social media. Money can be an equalizer, and it can be like a. It can be like.
This is the thing. Yeah. This is why I consider all of it plastic, because you're not dealing with people in the sense of you're dealing with communities. You're dealing with commercialism, and that's why, for this reason. Like Dragon's Den, I am out. You know what I mean? Like I deal with individuals, like you just said. Hence the reason why at one point I know I've sat there with all of you and spoken to you guys on the one-to-one. All 3 of these guys know if they wanted to contact me, they could just like say Simon, like, boys, bish, bash, bosh, and here I am. So, but anyone else like to say any? Comment?
Can I finish my point on just that?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
So there's people that have said that to me, but like I said, if you can't, like the Mark Twain quote is travel is fatal to prejudice. I think it was like I forgot the rest of it. It was like travel is fatal to prejudice, narrow-mindedness, etc. So it's like you can't expect everyone to be worldly. I'm just saying, like you can't expect everyone.
No. You don't have to be
So,
worldly. It's
so
respect.
sometimes like with racism and stuff, like certain people they have, and it goes both ways because there's people that there's genuine racists out there, but like at the same time, not you can't. Some people with education they can change. I do believe that personally. With this situation, just addressing that comment, Europe's treatment for all the Europeans out there, like Keylor Navas is like an interesting case because when he went to Madrid, he got like people always say like he got treated harshly by like the Madrid media. So sometimes there may be truth to certain things because Europeans may judge like Americans a bit harder sometimes, and I've had it with streams where like also sensitivities are different like across the globe.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of Europeans hang more so on words, and you see a lot on streams. It's like they look for like every single word, like they'll take it literally sometimes, and sometimes like you're just joking.
Cheap.
So yeah. But so I don't want to make that as an excuse for the Enzo thing because he should know better. He's traveled. He's gotten to travel the world like way more than like anybody. That's why people are coming down on him really hardly. So and rightfully so. Everything's gonna happen the way it's gonna happen. Just wait for FIFA. That's
the word I've used this whole stream, Bargav. Education. Like, and as I said, both of them have made baseless statements. Both of them. Mbappe made this is the whole, and you said about the Pogba thing earlier on about how he said, "Oh, we're gonna run through and kill them." These Argentines, like what he said at the 2018 World Cup. So this is the thing with every kind of hate. It spends time simmering, boiling up a little bit, and as usual, it's too late until everyone notices it until it goes. Because this chant that came out this week was made up 2 years ago and sung at the World Cup.
Yeah.
But they've only just gone on it now.
It's actually changed more, and they changed the lyrics supposedly too. So it's
the original will be there somewhere, mate. Once it's on the internet,
somewhere.
it's there forever. Like, you know what I mean? Some way, shape, or form, it will still exist. And if not, someone will add it because people are just that bad nowadays to do that.
And also, Tony, I want to give props to Tony because he said it best. I can't believe we're playing like global executive on this thing, honestly. But like realistically, when you think about it, what he said is absolutely right. The leaders of world football need to get to the solution quickly because the longer it takes to get it to actually dish out that punishment, the impact is going to like dissipate. So they should do it really. They got to come to a decision really quickly. And those guys are really. I'm sure those guys are really experienced people. I don't have 30 years of experience in like world football yet, but I have 10 years. I would say 20 years technically. I've been watching world football, but I'm not like when you're dealing with the when you're dealing with executives. I hope like they come out with a solution quickly because it's gonna be better for all parties because there's a lot of like ripple effects with this.
Here, because I'm guaranteed with how bad things were for us last season, me and JP don't need any more additional stress when it comes to how Chelsea could play or perform this. See his eyes roll. It's just like, yeah, not more. We don't need any more.
It was a good summer. It was a good summer.
Yeah, it was a good summer.
Oh gosh.
So, but Tony, any final words, sir?
No, I mean, like I said, it's one thing you don't expect one of your team players to kind of put themselves on the map for the wrong reasons. At the end of the day, they're representing your club and you want them to do well in that competition. And then you go do something like that. And unfortunately, we're seeing the aftermath. And like I said, let's hope they can resolve this quickly, swiftly, and repair, in certain respects, your reputation that's been damaged. And more importantly, what this player can do for himself. Because that's going to be the hardest thing for him.
Yeah. Very true. How does he redeem himself? That's a very good point. But time will tell. JPT?
I think a punishment needs to happen soon. But it's the thing. If they come out like as Barga was saying, like do something now, is it going to come off that they just are doing it quickly to get it just done and over with, like and not care? So it's like they're going to get some type of criticism one way or another. But if please just have everything resolved, good to go, maybe just start the healing process before the Man City game because Lord knows after Kukureya's freestyle, he needs to back that up versus Haaland. And now he's going to be like, now he's going to have to defend Enzo from his teammates instead of marking up Haaland's. Oh man, it's gonna be a bad start from what I'm guessing. No, I mean, what preseason starts next week?
Next week, yeah.
Do you see us getting this resolved right before the first game of the season?
Yeah, because if going by the per se's that we would or talking about, this should all be settled within the next week or so. It'll just be whatever happens afterwards is him facing his punishments. Like we've all said, it all needs to be dealt with quickly. To make it to show that this is truly going to be stamped out, it needs to be dealt with hard, quick, and fast.
Yep.
So I think we can all safely agree on that.
Yeah.
100%.
So we'll just see in it if these authority football figures are what they really, 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 really say they are, or realistically if they're just talking crap, which they normally do anyway. But it'll just, yeah. I know because does anyone? Okay, and this is just between the four of us and an honest question. Does anyone genuinely believe they're gonna get this right?
I mean, in my heart of hearts, I do, because I think FIFA is a global organization. They have to. They can't stay in that organization. It's already been stained a couple of times. So after the whole when you look at FIFA with the whole bladder, all the stuff that happened with bladder and whatnot, it's like they have to. But if they're gonna, because it is a big situation. I mean, it's crazy to think 5 minutes of partying could end up like this, but
well, it takes 30 seconds to be an idiot.
30 seconds, yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I think so. I think they'll get it. They have to get it right. Football is not too global. You can't. There's gonna be a lot of people holding them accountable too. So, and that's probably, but that's also probably why they'll probably just knowing how executives act. They want to wait out and make sure it's correct. That's why I think it's gonna drag on. So that's the only thing with that.
Well, I hope not. But anyway, boys, I'm going to round this off now because I'm getting hungry. So I will say thank you to JPT. I will say thank you to Bargav. I will say thank you to Early Doors Football TV. Big up, Tony. Thank you for dropping in. That wasn't planned, by the way, but you're always welcome here. You know that for a fact.
Thanks for it, go.
Yeah. It's great, man. Great things work out. It's been a really, really, really good stream. I've appreciated you, boys. Big up everyone in the chat as well. Obviously JPT's been doing his thing, keeping the banter going. Rosie, Tony's been doing his bent in the channel. Anthony always bringing the jokes. Big up to you, sir. Moss Sports, some like and subscribe to him. Chelsea Respective, big up to you, mate. Like and subscribe to him. Deal, obviously, Dime's there in the chat a little while ago. Deals was there as well. You know what I mean? Saying about West Ham won our legend because they've been linked with Kante. You know what I mean? Big up. Thank you for everyone who's been dropping in and. Because it's been a serious stream, it's been a delicate stream, but it's been one it's gone a lot better than what. Hopefully, we had a conversation like this when we tried to the other day, but we just needed to do it with just a few people, a couple of them, cool heads, and we've got to everything above. So big up to everyone for that.
One thing, I don't know football executives. I know people that work in other things. That's what I meant. Somebody sitting me up. I don't know football executives, but.
No, that's all right, bro.
Yeah, somebody
who knows a guy.
I mean, we all met people. We all know people who.
Well, if you want to talk about someone who can probably still be deeply entrenched in football, he's the guy sitting below us again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's true.
Because even if he's not involved in it directly himself, like you just said, he knows people that know people that know people.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I don't need
But end of the day, we're just four gentlemen just sitting there giving opinions, man. I was like, yeah. Yeah, he has more.
To make it easier.
We went down the rabbit hole in
I'm telling you.
1 hour 43 minutes. We went down.
First day of work, you're facing a racial divide.
Just another day at Chelsea Football Club. We are that Premier League team that gives and keeps on giving. You know what I mean? We deal with all kind of political, Ukraine war. You name it, man. We are there and we are thereabouts, man. We are that team that just keeps on giving. But anyway, again, thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you everyone that's please like and subscribe to everyone, including me. Would appreciate it. Thank you to Tony, Bargav, and JPT again. God bless everyone. Stay safe, and we are out of here. Peace, people.